The years have been kind to our family. Mom and Dad are still in love. They're both healthy. Mom is 85, Dad's 83. They read a great deal, and mixing TV with reading is usually the way they end each day. As long as I can remember, Mom reads articles aloud, and many of them are about health and medical research. Mom starts each morning with inspirational reading and Bible study. Mom still does all of the household duties and chores. Occasionally she'll have someone come in and help her with housekeeping. Both Tony and Edith watch their diet meticulously. They are also convinced that the body is a miraculous thing, and if it's fed properly with diet, nutrition, and supplements, it can go a long way in preventing disease from developing. My mother and father both brought me up believing that I could nurture my body's health and not nurture a disease process and stay healthy and live a long life. Both Mom and Dad got into a blood pressure regulatory program. Dad has a history of high blood pressure, but both of their blood pressures are now low and under control. Mom and Dad were raised on 3 meals a day formulas, and most of those meals were pretty high in fat and starch. That's changed. They still have 3 meals a day, but the meals consist of cereals, fruits and vegetables, and most everything is low fat. They still eat meat, and on occasion they'll have a prime rib. But the distinct difference now is that even when they eat meat or fatty foods, they eat far less of them. Both Mom and Dad's weight have been rather stable for the last 5 years. There doesn't seem to be too much fluctuation up or down. That's another thing that's remained constant over the years. Mom and Dad have always specified a time when the family would sit down, pray over a meal, and then enjoy it. Tony has a green thumb. As long as he's able to walk and talk, he'll go out in his garden, or find one, and prune the bushes, water the plants, talk to the birds and the animals, and generally feel like he's come home again. Gardening is now Dad's main source of exercise. It's getting harder and harder. As he gets older, he gets slower, and the yard just keeps growing. Like many of his generation, technology frightens my father. He has a word processor which he uses to write letters to the family. And when asked if he has any interest in getting a computer or surfing the internet for research, his answer is definitely not. Mom still does daily exercises of a variety of kinds. This series of exercises was developed between her and a physical therapist to exercise her back and stretch her leg muscles. When Edith was 75, she fell and broke her ankle, and she consistently has to work with her flexibility and stretching and strength. But she seems to be doing very well with that. Mom had a membership at Jack LaLanne's health spa, and she used to use it quite regularly. But over the years, all the young people there and the programs that they offered changed. And she didn't really feel like she had. Mom and Dad simply live healthy lifestyle habits, and the benefits of doing that are starting to show up. When both Mom and Dad are home for the noontime meal, a light meal is prepared that's usually low in fat, high in fiber, and low in caloric. All in all, Mom and Dad lead a very active life. Carmela and her husband Carl have recently moved back from Silver Spring, Maryland, to less than a mile away from the original family farm site. This has been great. I know Mom and Dad both enjoy having Carm and Carl close at hand and available for good times. As both Tony and Edith had parents with dementia or potentially Alzheimer's, they're obviously concerned about it. But they both lived longer than their parents. They must be doing something right. And that leads us to the Alzheimer's Life Plan.